I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about psychology and true crime. Afton, you are first in the chat according to my StreamYard panel. I appreciate you all and your support. We are going to hop right into the overview of this case. I do have the overview linked down in the description. I also have my prior coverage because the co-conspirator, so Chris Dontell, he was sentenced recently, and his, I guess, girlfriend who he was cheating on his wife with, the allegation is that she pew-pewed her husband, and he disposed of the body. And he was a deputy coroner at the time, and there was a long time that he lied, and he's going to say he lied because he was scared of her, and the judge doesn't fully buy that. And so we are going to watch, so trigger warnings, because the victim in that case, his daughter is going to speak at the sentencing, and her statement is quite powerful. She's going to have a lot of emotions. She testified in the trial, and it is understandable that she has a lot of anxiety getting up and talking about her dad and the impact that his death has had on her. And so let's go on ahead and hop right into this. I'm going to skip ahead to when she starts talking. I do have a link to this full video down in the description. The judge is going to start by just encouraging her to breathe, and because she's visibly anxious, which is once again understandable. Let's turn on closed captions as well. All right, let's go.
Good morning, Ms. Rice.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I know you're nervous. I just want you to act like you're just talking to me, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor, for hearing my statement. I've had a lot of time to think about what happened, and that doesn't change any way that I feel about the sentencing of Chris Dontell. Chris may have had his family to worry about, but he also had my family to worry about the day he chose to continue being an accomplice. He held me.
And I just also want to add, anybody that's new to this case, that doesn't know this case, his girlfriend at the time, or the affair that he was having, the woman, she moved down the street from him and his family, and she would bring them like bulk items in bulk. So he met Savannah and her siblings, and it's a really odd situation, but that's what happened. Yeah, and we are going to talk about Shanda Vander Ark. She is requesting a new trial. I don't think she's going to get it, but we're still going to talk about that next after we get through the sentencing. Let's go.
As I cried and begged for my dad to come back, he told me it would be okay and that we would find my dad. He didn't tell me that we would find him dead. He could have told the cops what happened. He could have made the choice to do the right thing. I've ran dozens of scenarios through my mind. He could have went to the cops and ended this years ago, but he didn't. I will never forgive him for that, because my siblings and I have lost our parents and our wives. We will never be able to live a normal life, and even more so, this has made it worse. Chris deserves maximum sentence possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. Ms. Rice, I do want to tell you, I understand how hard this has been on you and your family. I can't fathom the pain that you've suffered as a result of this. I just want to commend you for your strength, for being here, for being there for Ms. Jackson's trial. I know that takes a lot of strength, and I just want to thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And once again, Ms. Jackson, she testified against her mother. All right. And so that was Savannah Rice, Greg Rice's daughter. So the defense is going to make a statement because they are going to try to say, like, he was so cooperative, and they are going to request leniency. Chris is still married to his wife, and the day she testified was their anniversary, like their wedding anniversary. And she's going to make a statement in support of her husband. We will watch that. And then Chris is going to make a statement as well before the judge issues his sentence.
Dontell.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and she testified in Megan's trial as well. Let me say, for anybody that's new to this case did not go to trial. So Chris pled guilty, but there was a mountain of evidence that he was the one that disposed of the body. And so he pled guilty, and he testified against his co-defendant. And during his testimony, he said, I'm hoping that this gets me less time. That's what he said.
Happy to hear from you.
Thank you. My name is Erica Dontell. I'm Christopher Dontell's wife. On June 12, 2025, Chris and I spent our 10th wedding anniversary testifying against his co-defendant, Megan Jackson. For nearly 5 years, I've made the choice each and every day.
But that was because of his choices, though. I know that she was sad, upset. I know, and everybody gets to have their emotions. If I was giving somebody feedback on that statement, because he's testifying on their wedding anniversary, because he was, according to his testimony, he was there when a man was pew-pewed and died, and he helped dispose of the body. Like, I know it's hard
To stay married to Chris. Despite the murder charge, affair, selling, though it felt more like losing my dream home, severe depression and anxiety, financial hardship, and all while solo parenting and homeschooling our 2 kids in hopes of giving them the most normal life possible, I've stayed, and I would like you to understand why.
Okay.
The Chris that has been presented to you in this courtroom over the last few years is not the man I chose to marry and build a life with.
And so this is in no way against, so y'all know we just talk about this, okay? I'm a psychologist on the internet. I don't know any of these people, and we just talk about this stuff. So she's presenting, because she's trying to get leniency from the judge to say he's not this evil person. She probably believes that Megan seduced him, because I don't believe the way Chris said it, y'all. Chris's testimony, if y'all didn't, you can watch my coverage of his testimony. He had the nerve to get up there and say that the first time Megan tried to seduce him, he said no, and that she belittled him, said he wasn't a man, and then she just kept coming on to him, and eventually he gave in. And if that's true, okay. But he didn't set any boundaries with her. I'm all about accountability, and I don't know if it happened the way he said it happened. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna keep it going.
Chris and I have been married for 10 years. We've been together for nearly 15, just about half of my life. While Chris and I, the totality of the horrible and unimaginable events that have gotten us here today only took a matter of months. Chris was not simply caught up in a workplace affair, but instead Megan Jackson infiltrated all areas of our lives and became the literal antichrist to our family. Within 8 short months, Megan Jackson moved into our neighborhood and set her plan in motion with 2 goals in mind: end Chris and mine's marriage and rid herself of Greg Rice, only one of which she succeeded at. From day one of knowing Megan, she had perfectly curated a narrative to gain compassion from both Chris and myself. At the time, it was our understanding that Greg Rice was an abusive, drug-addicted pervert, and Megan sold that story to us every chance she got.
He wasn't.
Chris nor I had never met Greg, and from her stories, we felt we never wanted to. I believe everything she told us was a tactical move to allow her plan to move forward without a hitch. Megan sold both Chris and I on the idea that we were all friends, and she was willing to and ready to solve all of our problems. She used the economic crash caused by COVID to shower us with expensive gifts, food, and promises of my dream come true, a summer camp for kids here in the county. Life was going to be perfect, and she was going to be to thank for it, until it wasn't. Through her manipulation and a full stock of pricey alcohol,
Megan used some challenges in our marriage that I had confided in her to present Chris with an escape from reality of the stresses of home and work.
Uh-oh. So if your husband's coworker, I wouldn't talk with my husband's coworker about issues I was having in my marriage. Okay. And right now he is fighting for his life and I'm sure he feels supported, but he doesn't seem like ashamed or embarrassed by anything that's being said. And right now they're all just blaming Megan. But in my mind, he participated. He did. And he's going to say that he saw what she did to her husband and he was afraid that she would harm him. She lied about being pregnant to him. Like those are all, or was there a pregnancy question mark? There are all of those things that come up, but I mean, I don't want to give, like, he did the things though. He did it.
I'm not making excuses for Chris's behavior, but I feel the backstory is important to understand how we got here. Chris made choices that he's expressed to me that he deeply regrets and has been paying for ever since. I will not overlook his role and the damage his decisions have caused.
Yeah.
But it's with every fiber of my being that I say, if COVID shutdowns had never happened, Chris would not be involved in this case at all.
I don't know if that's completely true. I don't know. So COVID did make people isolated. It made people go into their homes. But like, if they still worked at the same place together, the affair still could have happened. I don't know. I don't know that I want to blame it all on the Rona too. He did the things, and I'm okay. We're just gonna keep it going.
I do, however, believe Megan still would have found a way to do what she did to Greg.
But it helped. It really helped having a strong man to be able to like help dispose of his body and all that. Like she did do, I don't know.
In January 2011, Chris and I had reconnected when we lived in Maryland, and we clicked instantly. He was hardworking, shared my love of baseball, and had the same overall goals and aspirations for life as I did, including our future plans of moving to Myrtle Beach. We often spent our time on the ball field playing trivia or sitting at the swing at the North Myrtle Beach Airport watching banner planes take off and land. Until November 2021, Chris and I had never been apart for more than a week and a half when we had to go away for training in 2015. We spent just about every single day for 10 years together.
But they were, like, the affair was happening at work. Like, the affair, and she's showing up on calls that, like, Megan was showing up to all of his calls. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to keep it going. I have thoughts.
I know who Chris is. Chris is kind, helpful, caring, passionate, and enjoys pizza and karaoke. And though his songs may be questionable, but not always family friendly.
Yeah.
But above all, Chris loves our kids more than life itself, and would give anything to be reunited with them. Over the years, I've been on many death calls with Chris, one of which was one of our first dates. What? Chris has always had such a gift for making people's worst.
First date was a death call? I'm not so. Ooh, on the first date, he responded to a death call? Oh, okay. Nobody else could have responded? I guess not. If he was the deputy, okay. Wow. Okay.
Moments a little easier. We often got letters or ran into family members from death calls that he worked, and every single one would go on about how compassionate and caring he was and about the difference he made in their lives at that time. Based on what I witnessed firsthand for 10 years, it's my belief that Chris felt he had no choice but to be involved how he was in this case.
And there are consequences for that. So even if he felt he had no choice, once the incident happened and there's a deceased body, he felt, that's, and the judge is going to have some good words later. So we are going to get to the judge. Chris is going to make a statement too.
Megan threatened him, and she was dangerous enough that Chris's previous attorney advised him to continue communication with Megan out of fear of what she might do if she found out he was turning on her. This was confirmed by the said attorney over dinner with me, and we later sought new counsel. I find myself wishing every day that this was one big nightmare, but unfortunately it's reality. Chris is not the only one that has been punished for over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
We've lost family members that never got a last hug or a goodbye from Chris. We've welcomed new family members by marriage and birth into the family that have never met him. And I underwent the entire process of selling our old home and buying a new one because I no longer felt safe with the co-defendant living a street away. But most importantly, our kids have suffered. Very quickly, they lost close friends they had in Megan's kids, their dad, their home, their neighborhood friends, and the normalcy we had prior to October of 2020. Chris is an amazing father, despite the poor choices he made over the few months when he was under the control of Megan. Our children were 5 and 2 when Chris's bond was revoked. Chris missed potty training our son, the loss of first teeth for both of our kids, daddy and daughter dances, and simply just everyday moments that others take for granted. My heart breaks for the Rice kids.
I'm glad you said something about the
Heart
victim.
breaks for the Rice kids who have missed out and will continue to miss those things with their own dad. I would give anything to go back in time knowing what I know now, but unfortunately that can't happen. We were all under Megan's spell of her false narrative and promises. I will continue to pray for the Rice kids every day and love them and hope they are forever surrounded by the love that they always deserved but did not receive from their own mom. During his incarceration, Chris has attended church services, Christian counseling sessions, which we will continue together when we are able to. And he's helped to keep things as normal as possible for our kids by playing games like rock, paper, scissors and practicing their math facts and spelling words, and even attending sporting events through the video visits. I respectfully ask you to please consider Chris as the man he is as a whole and not just the actions within such a small period of time when he thought there was no way out. We have lost so much already, and it is my hope that you would consider the time Chris and our entire family have already served and allow him to come home to our family.
Thank you, Shanda. All right, yes, ma'am.
So I do just want to say I have compassion for her, like and I don't think that she will I think she'll stay married to him. And the way that she's thought about this is that the affair and Megan like vexed him, tricked him, was the Antichrist. Like I wasn't prepared for that. That Megan came in and fooled him. And if it wasn't for COVID, none of this would have happened. And she still has to move forward raising the kids. We're not going to have spoilers, so don't spoil it in the chat. Yes, all right, with what he is sentenced with. All right, let's keep it going. He's about to get up and talk.
Thank you, Your Honor, and I believe the defendant would like to address the law personally. And he wrote it, Your Honor, just because he wanted to keep his thoughts straight.
I've thought about the Rice family, hurt for them. I wished I could speak with them every day for going on 5 years. I'm so sorry that they had to learn the details of Greg's death in such a public way at Megan's trial.
Because you didn't tell them, sir. You didn't tell them. Okay, so for anybody that's new to this case, what happened was, so Greg, the victim in this case, Greg Rice, the wife, or so because it was Megan reported him missing. So the children thought that he was missing. And both Chris and Megan knew that he was deceased. His body ended up being recovered I don't know that they thought his body would ever be recovered, but his body was recovered. They were able to learn what happened. They were able to gather a mountain of evidence, and he lied multiple times to the investigators, to everybody, even when she was incarcerated. And so, okay. I feel like this is a Chad Daybell, like, but except for Chad didn't admit he did anything wrong, but like this is the blaming the woman. And I'm sure Megan was manipulative and controlling, but that's where boundaries. So boundaries are incredibly helpful. And yeah, it's just it's sad.
And that I was the bearer of some of those details.
You knew.
Greg Rice's and Megan Jackson's 4 kids have become an extension of my family. And knowing how badly, I'm sorry.
Oh, that made me feel, how can you call him an extension of your family? You disposed of his body and were having an affair with, it's just, okay. I'm just going to keep it going.
Knowing how badly they were hurt and that I played a role in causing any pain at all to them is something I'm going to struggle with for the rest of my life. To simply keep saying I'm sorry just doesn't feel right. And I don't know that I can effectively articulate the depth of the combination of love, pain, regret, and compassion I feel for those kids and for everyone who loved Greg. I'm sorry for having any involvement with Megan. Virtually everything about her is the exact opposite of everything I've ever been and stood for. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I chose to overlook everything bad about her because she was spending thousands of dollars a month on my family, and because she had convinced me that she was basically going to make.
I wonder if what y'all was doing too, okay? Because I know she was buying gifts for the family, but y'all were also intimate on a regular basis. We're just gonna leave that part out. I don't know. But like, okay.
Make all mine and my family's dreams come true. In retrospect, it's clear that my involvement with her was founded on deception and selfishness. This led to a snowball of poor decisions.
On your part, deception and selfishness on your part too, sir. You lied to your wife. It was selfish to your family. You were not in an open marriage. I'm sorry. Not really.
On my part, infidelity, and to Megan having a grip on every aspect of my life. If not for these poor decisions on my part, I know that I would not have been with her on the night of October 2nd, would not have been in the position to be an accessory after the fact, and would not have had any part in causing any suffering to anyone. I heard Megan say things like, I'm going to kill Greg, and I'm going to kill my kids. More than once, she told me she was going to kill me. She said these kinds of things nonchalantly.
Those are all huge red flags. So first of all, if you're in a closed marriage, don't be unfaithful if you're in a closed marriage. And then secondly, if the person that you're having an affair with is threatening to unalive their partner and their children and you, that's a huge red flag. Huge red flag. I don't know that, but I'm saying it. We shouldn't have to say that, but okay.
And I never took them as a serious threat. I chose to overlook these things and all the other red flags that were waving in my face because of the attributes I thought were good about her, which I now see were only those which served me in some way.
Yes.
I realized that my involvement with Megan, and thereby this case, has caused some variation of hardship to many, including my business partners, employees, colleagues, neighbors.
I kind of feel like these tears, now I don't know, okay? So we're just here to chat. I feel like these tears are for himself. And he's trying to get sympathy from the judge and from the judge, because it's just the judge sentencing today. And he's trying to show remorse. Okay, because sometimes we've talked about defendants not showing remorse, and so he is trying. Okay. Uh, so, Dr. Berry, can you explain why his wife is still choosing to stand by her man? And I would bet that there are some faith beliefs that are in this. So, I'm a Christian, but if my husband diddles with somebody else, we are not like he's gonna be paying alimony and child support. Like that's our agreement. We have a closed relationship, and we don't do that. There are some people that believe that this is a trial that God has. I don't know. Like some people get religious about it, and I personally. I'm talking about what I would do for my life. If she was my client, it would be her choice whether she stayed or not. And if she wanted to use her faith, I would encourage her to talk with her faith leaders. But there are people that choose to stay. I am not one. I told y'all I'm not ride or die. Okay, I am live and let's go eat. I want to go for a ride, but like I'm not if we're doing crimes. Okay, like I don't know. I tell no. And so, but there are people where they believe that God has called them together, and they'll and I don't. If that's her choice, that's on her. And don't do crimes. It also looked better them still being married. I don't know if what she'll choose once with the sentence he has. If she'll choose to wait for the years that he's going to be sentenced. I don't know what'll happen over that period of time. But she might choose to stay. And I feel like that's everybody's choice. So uh my love has some conditions. My conditions are like don't be harmful to me or others, or especially our child. Like don't my love has some conditions. It just does. All right. And I can forgive and still move on and still like not be in my life. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. And so, but there are some people that believe like they should give the person another chance and all that. And so, and once again, I wouldn't judge her. So I don't judge her for choosing to stay. That is her choice. But then this is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult for their kids and their family. He did this to their family. He did. He had an affair, even if she seduced him, even if he said no the first time. And I felt like that was more for his wife than what actually, I don't know. I wonder if Megan would tell the story a little different. I don't know.
My friends, my family, and especially the loved ones of Greg Rice. During the years I've spent in jail, I have, with the help of counselors, taken accountability and begun the process of repairing the damage. As for the Rice family, I just want them to know that if there's anything I can do to help them gain closure, I'll do whatever I can do for them, whether that's now or years from now. My heart will always be with them.
Your Honor, just briefly in closing, I just wanted to address a few more things. One,
I'm going to skip over that part. We're going to get to the judge. All right, the judge is ruling. I like this judge, so let's go ahead and press play. They muted it because I think you were picking up sound. Judge.
Okay. Mr. Dontell, your attorney has done a good presentation, and quite frankly, I believe has done a remarkable job to get you where you are today. She's correct that my law clerk did go in and view your testimony in Megan Jackson's trial, but I also went back and viewed your testimony as well. Your testimony did differ in what you admitted to when you pled guilty to the charges you're here for today.
I would love to know what those differences were. So the judge said that there were differences between what he testified to in court and what he pled guilty to. And so I would just love to know. And they're not going to go into that, but okay.
My concern is simply this. I understand that you're remorseful. You're here today to take ownership over what you've done. However, by my math, it took about 1,500 days for that to happen. You said in your testimony in Ms. Jackson's trial that you were scared of Ms. Jackson.
The judge counted the days. The judge was like 1,500 days between the incident and him coming forward and finally admitting that he played a role in it.
I don't know what you were scared of once she got incarcerated, though. She absolutely couldn't hurt your family when she was incarcerated. And you still decided that you wanted to withhold the truth. And then you testified on.
And I don't, so his face just naturally turns down. So Chris's face, because even when he's just looking, so he just has that resting beat, like his face naturally just turns down. But I wonder if he's getting the idea that this isn't going to go well for him. He's probably not going to get the leniency that he wanted.
Proffered again with the state and again gave them different information. The truth of the matter in this, according to your own testimony, is that you were present when Mr. Greg Rice was gunned down.
So his testimony was he was in the van. I think he was driving or something. And like she pew-pews, like he was there when it happened. And they collect the body and drive off. That's much more than accessory to murder. And the judge is going to say that. Because he was, if he was driving, I forget if he was driving the van or not. I think he was. I think he was driving. Because you're technically the getaway driver. Like she did a crime and you're the getaway driver. You can be charged with first-degree murder too.
And that you helped dispose of that body.
He did.
You, a person who disposes of bodies.
Deputy coroner.
As your job. And yet it took you 1,500 days before you gave this family some solace in knowing what happened to their dad. I saw in your testimony where you hoped that your testimony would give you a lesser sentence. And I'll tell you that based on your testimony, the fact that you pled to an accessory and a co-conspirator is your lesser sentence. You very easily could be right where Ms. Jackson is doing life in prison. I will give you the credit for the time that you have served. You're entitled to that by statute. But as to the accessory after the fact, it's the sentence of this court that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for a period of 15 years.
And so he's about to get 15 years for the first charge. And he looked confused by all of that. So I think he's been in jail for, it might be 5 years now, something like that. But he'll get credit for time served. And so the first sentence is 15 years.
And as for the conspiracy, it's a sentence to this court that you be sentenced to the maximum again of 5 years, and those are to run consecutive.
20 years.
Mr. Dontell, I understand that you're here and want to give the closure to the Rice family, and I hope that this does that. And I hope that ultimately, when you get out, that you will remember what you've done to your own family and what you've done to the Rice family.
Exactly.
But that's the sentence of this court. Thank you.
All right. So 20 years. That's the daughter. Probably some other family. That was it. All right. Y'all. Yes. And so they're going to run back to back. I believe. So was it, he, I don't, did he say concurrent? I thought it was consecutive. I thought that's what he said. I could be wrong. I thought. So I wonder if he didn't say, I wonder what was different in his testimony and what he pled to, the details that he gave initially. And if the defense knew that there was a difference, they probably would have brought, I don't know. I would think they would bring that up. All right. Let's go on ahead and talk about Shanda real quick. I'm so sorry we have to do this, but we do. Okay. Welcome to Shay. So the sentence for the last case. So he got 15 years for the accessory and 5 years. And I could have sworn that the judge, yes, that, yeah. So he got 20 years total. All right. And so, and his children still have a father, the Rice family. And now it was Megan that allegedly, like according to everything they've said, Megan's the one that, no, she didn't, she denies that. He says she was the one that pulled the trigger. But yeah. So Shanda Vander Ark, it's a really, 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 really tough case. It involved severe neglect of Timothy. I believe it was Timothy Ferguson. So the brother, I'm bad with names, y'all. Or I think that was her other son, Shanda. Yes, it was her son, Timothy, and he was found deceased in 2022, weighing just 69 pounds. And the punishments that she would do and that she would have her adult son, Paul Ferguson, he was also charged in this as well. The punishments that I said that it was harm. It was just abuse. That's what it was. These were not punishments. This was just incredibly harmful. Timothy also had autism. And I think at one point she pulled him out of school and she was studying. She was working to become a lawyer. And she has filed for a new trial saying that she was not competent to stand trial. So let's talk about this, because competence to stand trial, we've talked about it because Lori Vallow was found competent to stand trial, even though she still has very odd religious beliefs. She still believes that she can communicate with Tylee and JJ, and like Lori Cox has really, really strange beliefs, and she was found competent to stand trial. And she's trying to be, so she's over here during her sentencing, she's correcting mistakes. Like she didn't represent herself, but the hold she had on her lawyer, you would think she was almost representing herself. She didn't, the only time she seemed emotionally maybe upset or unstable was when she was about to be cross-examined. If y'all don't remember this case, because she testified and then all of a sudden was too sick to return to be able to be cross-examined. And I do agree that Paul was manipulated, but I also think Paul, unfortunately, was a product of a harmful environment. And I think he kind of got his mother's love and approval by doing harmful things, because it almost seemed like he thought Timothy deserved it, and he did. Nobody deserves harm. No, nobody does. So Paul, after hearing some of Paul's phone calls, I don't know if phone calls from prison had them, but somebody released Paul's phone calls, and seeing his police interview, after seeing all of those things, it just, I had a little less sympathy for him. I just personally did. I'm being honest with that. All right. So let me see. This was December 2023. A jury found her guilty of first-degree murder in the death of her son, Timothy Ferguson. He was 15 years old at the time. And She's claiming that she was not competent to stand trial and she was not provided with effective counsel. Her lawyer did the best he could. Her lawyer, oh my gosh. The motion calls for the convictions to be vacated and a new trial and evidentiary hearing to be scheduled. Let's also remember she's a lawyer and she's just trying for something. And so that's what she's trying for. I don't think she's gonna get it. I'm glad that trials are streamed now because in no way did she seem delusional. I think she's trying to claim that she was dissociating and she was in like a dissociative state and she was disconnected. Like that is what she's going to try to claim, that there were portions where she was not present, but her lawyer asked for a break when she was upset and she was given that break. She did not get cross-examined after telling the jury that horrible story she tried to tell. I think she tried to blame Paul. I'm almost positive. That's what she did. And almost, yeah. Like this was it was a really, really horrific case. And so she's trying to do something, but no. No. Yes, the harm was happening for a long time. I think she had also lost custody of her other children. I think including Timothy in a different state. I thought her parental rights had been terminated. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. CPS got involved due to past harm and when the kids were a lot younger. And often those records are sealed, so we don't always know exactly what happens with that. But I do not believe that she'll be granted a new trial. I am following Donna Adelson updates. I know her lawyer is trying to introduce some potential email evidence, and the judge today, or no, I think it was yesterday's hearing, the judge was like, just be aware that this might open, have you discussed with your client that this might open other doors? And her attorney's like, I don't think it does. And the judge is just kind of like, I'd encourage you to talk with your client about whether or not this will open other doors, because it'll be up to the judge to decide whether it opens other doors or not. Kathy, thank you for being a member for 9 months. I truly appreciate all the members, all the subs. I appreciate everyone. Yeah. So her dissociation seemed to come at very opportune times. It seemed manipulative, in my personal opinion, or like when she was getting caught. Like, so right when she's about to be like the state is cross-examining her, all of a sudden, because I think they showed her a picture. That's what happened. They showed her a picture of her child that she had seen in the state all the time, but she said she threw up. I don't think she actually did. But she said that she got sick. She said that she wasn't able to continue. Yes. Michelle, thank you for commenting. I thought her parental rights were terminated and the kids were in a foster home, and then eventually they were returned to the father. I thought so. I think, and I've talked about this before, I think Paul was living with her and it was fine. And so I think they thought Timothy would be okay too. But unfortunately, Paul was useful to her. Like Paul was working, like they were splitting the bills, like, and unfortunately, she didn't seem to see her child as like a person. She just seemed to, like, he seemed to be the object of her, like, sadistic, like, she seemed to like punishing him, which is, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people said that she didn't throw up and that it looked like she faked it. And that's what somebody would suspect a person would, because I believe he was very emaciated. Like those pictures are probably horrific. Because there are messages that Paul sent her saying, hey, I think we should feed him. And she's like, no. And so, yeah. I do agree that like she was the one, like that Paul was following her orders. he was still an adult, and I think he could have asked for some help. Thank you, Michelle. So I dyed the hair blonder. Um, my speaking engagement on Saturday was amazing. I had a really great time with the group down in Richmond, and I will be live again this Saturday. If there are things that y'all would like for me to talk about, cases that y'all would like for me to cover, please just make sure to comment, like, what's the thing you want for me to talk about. So with the case, it's like, if there's like a specific question that you have related to a case, that just helps as I'm looking for more cases to cover. Let's see. Yeah. We started a little early. We get to finish a little early. I appreciate you all, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I will see y'all on Saturday. Have a good one. Bye.